Hey gamers, today we're going to play a little bit of Valley of the Kings. So Valley of the Kings is a very small box deck builder. It is from Outer Games and designed by Tom Cleaver, and it is a good amount of fun, especially for such a small game. There are a few interesting quirks to this game that make it different from your usual deck builder. You have a set of starter cards that you begin with. You purchase cards, add them to your deck. But at the end of this game, you only score off of cards that are put in your tomb. In other words, taken out of the game before it ends. So in the solo version of the game, the goal is to get a perfect score. And what that means is that by the end of this game, I need to entomb all 10 cards in my starter deck, plus one of each card from this game. So a complete set with one of everything and one of each of 5 unique items. Duplicates count against me, so that means that I can't just thin my deck by putting stuff in my tomb. I can only entomb one of each of the cards that's going to give me a perfect score. So let's see how we do. Another quirk, by the way, of this game is that these cards are set in a pyramid. When you buy, you can only buy off of the bottom row unless you have cards that allow you to take from these higher rows. So that'll be another interesting challenge because we'll be able to see what's coming our way. But technically, we're only supposed to buy off of the bottom row. And we will keep talking about that as we go. So let's draw my opening hand. So you take 5 cards. You start with 10. Pretty common. Okay. So the way these cards work is that each of these has a purchasing power of 1. They were worth 2 if you were to buy them. And they also have an action here. So, for example, I could sacrifice a card in my hand and entomb a card with a lower cost. Or I could put the top card of my discard pile on top of my deck so I know the first card is going to draw the next turn. The shop keys are quite interesting because they allow you to swap cards in the pyramid. So if there's something that I want to buy, I can actually bring it down and swap cards and buy it if I have the right amount of money. Or I can sacrifice a card in the pyramid. And what sacrifice means is that you take it out of the game, but you don't put it in your tomb. You put it over here in the boneyard. There are some cards that allow you to interact with the boneyard. The expansions are actually a little bit better about that, but we'll see that as we go. And there's there's one other thing in here. Yes. When an opponent's action would cause you to discard or sacrifice, you can reveal the offering table to cancel the action. So the other thing I get is 1 free entombment action each turn, and I'm just going to go ahead and stick this thing in my tomb because it interacts with opponents and it's only got a value of 1. Like, I don't really need it. So I'm just going to put it over here. I'm an aggressive entomber, as you guys will see. So I have 4 left to buy with, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the middle sarcophagus. And that was my turn. So now that my turn's over, I'm going to collapse the pyramid. So you just move the cards down. If something's going into the middle, you get to choose which card. And then we replenish it off the top of the offer. So when this deck and this pyramid run out, the game is over and I'm out of time to try to entomb stuff. You might think that that's easy. You can just keep entombing things from your deck and never move the pyramid. Not so. If I don't make any changes to this pyramid, then I have to sacrifice a card from it and it will keep collapsing anyway. So the deck acts like a timer to limit how long I have to get everything together, get my tomb ready for the afterlife so I can take everything with me into the next life. All right, so let's draw our second hand of cards. Okay, so we have a couple shop teas, a couple urns, box of food. Things are looking good for my afterlife. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is, since I have full purchasing power, I'm just going to go ahead and grab this Book of the Earth, which will make a card that I really want collapse down here. Excellent. So now, as with all deck builders, I'm just going to go ahead and reshuffle. And draw 5. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This box of food, I'm just going to go ahead and entomb it as one of my entombment actions. And then I'm going to use 3 more to purchase this lovely statue of Anubis that I'm very excited about. I'm going to show you why the next time it comes around. And I'm just not going to do anything with this shop tea. There's no need at this moment. So this will come down. This will come down. And we'll replenish the pyramid. Man, I got a lot of books coming up. Okay. Okay, so we've drawn 5 cards. As you can see, I have a little more spending power this time because I have one that's worth 2. So one of my priorities, by the way, as we go, is to get some of these 1 value cards out of my deck. And the reason I'm going to do that is that there are more expensive cards coming that are currently at the bottom. So see how this has 1 in the corner? These all have 2. There's stage 3 cards coming up that have value of 6 to 10 that you have to pay for them. And if I keep drawing 1s like this, I'm never going to be able to buy those cards. So early in the game, it's important to be aggressive about getting some stuff out of your hand. So I'm going to go ahead and entomb and earn, which still leaves me with 5 purchasing power, which is perfectly good for right now. Because I want this Book of Traversing Eternity. I love this card because the action is if you bought a card this turn, take another card with a lower cost. Not only does it let you get a double card purchase in a turn, but take doesn't mean I have to take it from the bottom row. Take means I can take it from anywhere. So we'll see how that plays out shortly. All right, so that's 1. Two, 3, 4, whoop, and 5. All right, and I need to rebuild my pyramid. Let's go. Okay, so in the interest of continuing my aggressive entombment strategy, I'm going to go ahead and stick a Shabti over here. There's 3 left in the deck, so it's not like I'm going to run out of them yet. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 purchasing power. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pick up 2 cards this time. I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to grab this one. Perfect. So we'll collapse and pull a couple more off the top. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do with this turn. I'm going to show you something cool with this card. So these guys are a little expensive. Actually, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and buy this statue of Sobek. And then another one comes out. Okay. So that'll be 1. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So sadly, my purchasing ability is not amazing this turn, but I can still do something pretty good with all of this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5. Okay, so I can't use any of the actions that I was hoping to use, but that is okay. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and take another Book of the Earth to show you how the Book of Traversing Eternity works. So the Book of Traversing Eternity, if you bought a card this turn, take another card with a lower cost. So that Book of the Earth cost 5. That means that I can get another card that was less than 5. In other words, 4. I'm going to go ahead and take the second Book of Traversing Eternity so I can entomb one and then just keep playing the other one since I like the card so much. Now, I'm going to collapse everything down and get my pyramid built back up. All right, so we'll draw 5. All right, so I keep drawing these kind of low value hands. It's gonna make me a little crazy, as you can see, because we're gonna keep going and it's gonna be hard to continue. So here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to entomb, I'm gonna entomb this urn, actually. I use the urns less than I use the Shabtis. Then I'm gonna play 1 Shabti for the action. And the action is gonna be to sacrifice a card from the pyramid. So I've already bought one of these. I'm gonna go ahead and sacrifice this one. Bring this down. I mean, I'm not gonna actually buy anything. So I should have waited, but I'll reconstruct my pyramid. These all just go in the discard, and I'm gonna play this for its action. So the action on the Statue of Anubis is after you draw your 5-card hand at the end of your turn, draw 1 additional card. This is awesome. So I'm gonna get to draw 6 cards this time. So 1, 2, 3. And then we'll shuffle. 4, 5, 6. So now I have a really big hand because I've been spending some money and also, you know, acquiring these cards that are worth a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and entomb this Book of Gates. And that still leaves me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 to play with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this one to the side for a minute. 2, 4, 6 is gonna buy me this Ka figurine. Then I'm gonna go ahead and play the Book of Traversing Eternity. If you bought a card this turn, take another card with the lower cost. And I'm gonna take that Tie-It Amulet, and then this one will just get discarded this time. But that was a pretty successful hand in terms of getting good stuff. So we'll bring these down and have another turn. So I've drawn 5. All right, once again, I've drawn this kind of hand with pretty low value cards. It can be very frustrating. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this Doom Musef Canopic Jar and put it in my tomb because its actions, each opponent discards a card. I don't have any opponents, I can't play it. So I'm gonna put it over here. And then let's see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use these 4 to just go ahead and pick up a statue of Bastet. Pull everything down. Just keep cycling on through. So that was 3. 4, 5. Okay, so let's think about what I would like to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have a total of 7 buying power, but I really only want to buy one of these 4 cards at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and put a Book of the Earth in my tomb. And then I'm going to use the rest of this to buy the Censor. And I'll go ahead and call that my turn. So now we are going to bring this stuff down and keep going. Draw 5 more. Okay, so this is a pretty healthy hand in terms of spending money. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could spend up to 10. I don't really need that, but I can make do with a bit less. So I'm gonna actually entomb this Shabti because I have 4 of them. That means I still have 2 left in my deck, which I prefer to keep pretty thin anyway. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the Kabasetowef Canopic Jar and the Waj Amulet both, because they're worth 7, and I have more than that in my money pile for that hand. So we'll move everything down. Move this down. All right, another statue of Anubis, I like those. And then that middle sarcophagus again. So let's draw 5 and see what it can do for us. Okay. So I actually own all of these, if I recall correctly. I would like this other statue of Anubis, however. So I'm gonna go ahead and play my Shabti to switch these 2. Then I'm just gonna spend 3 to get Anubis. I'm gonna go ahead and put the statue of Bastet, which has an opponent interactive action, into my tomb. So just kind of keeping good tomb maintenance, and that'll go in the discard pile. So we'll rebuild the pyramid. And just keep on going. All right, so the outer sarcophagus is definitely something I'm gonna want. So let's see. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I drew 2 statues of Anubis this time. Since they're only worth 1, but I like the action, I'm gonna put that one in my tomb. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest to, let's see. I need more cards that have a 2 value in my hand. So I'm gonna go ahead And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this extra canopic jar. No, I'll take the statue so big. So I'll pick it up just for an extra thing that has a value of 2, since I'm going to put my duplicate in my tomb shortly. I'm also going to play the statue of Anubis to draw 6 next turn. So let's see what I pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Not bad. Okay. So the Tied Amulet's pretty interesting. It lets you repeat an action you executed this turn. This one is great. If I bought a card this turn, I can take another with a lower cost. I'm also going to want to entomb something. All right, I'm definitely going to go ahead and entomb this sensor because it has an opponent interactive action, and that's not very useful to me as a solo player, which still leaves me with 5 cards to buy stuff with. So what would I like to buy? All right, there's multiple things I'd like to buy. So I'm actually going to use this Shabti. I'm going to use it to switch the statue of Bastet for an outer sarcophagus. So I can go ahead and buy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 purchasing power. I'm going to go ahead and pick up 7 value. So these will come down. This will come down, down, and down. All right, so we'll draw 5 and start all over again. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this Waj amulet in my tomb. Just trying to keep good tomb care going here. I really like the middle sarcophagus card, and I'd like to put my duplicate in my tomb. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this one. So I'm going to spin these to purchase it, which leaves me with an urn and a Shabti. I think one thing I am going to do is the Shabti lets you sacrifice a card in the pyramid. I know that I don't really want either of these, so I'm just going to go ahead and use its action to get rid of one. I have a soft spot for cats, so we'll get rid of that canoptic jar. So these will come down. All right, another cat. It's mummified, but it's still a cat. So now we have a fresh pyramid. We'll reshuffle our deck and keep going. Okay, so we'll draw 5. Okay, so let's do this. All right, let's see if there's anything clever I can do with this. I'm thinking probably not. Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna entomb this statue of Sobek. I got 2 of them, let's do that for sure. The other thing that I can do, if I want to be quite clever with things, is, I don't really like the action on this one. It involves interacting with an opponent, so I don't love the card. So what I think I might do is sacrifice a card in my hand and take a card with a cost up to twice as much as a sacrifice card. So I'm going to play Book of the Earth. I'm going to sacrifice the statue of Sobek and use it to take a mummified cat, because far be it from me to ever go through a turn without picking up a cat. Uh-oh, we are now at phase 3, so we've started to get more expensive cards. That's going to be serious for me in terms of making sure I get my deck a little more thinned out so I can buy all this pricey stuff. Okay, so let's see. In the interest of that, I'm going to go ahead and put this box of food in my tomb. I'm going to use this Shabti, and I'm going to use it. I like the Tied Amulet because it lets you repeat an action you executed this turn, which could be pretty useful. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Shabti for the action and spend 5 to buy this. So I'll bring Bastet back down. So as you can see, these are some pretty expensive cards. So over the next couple turns, I'm going to need to get careful about getting rid of cards that aren't going to have good purchasing power for me, because I'll get stuck. Okay, so I would like to put this outer sarcophagus in my tomb. And then, let's see. I'm a little stuck. I can sacrifice a card and entomb a card from my hand, but I don't really want to ditch any of these cards. And I don't want to buy any of these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just call that a wash and sacrifice this outer sarcophagus. I've already got one in my tomb. It's only worth 1, and the action doesn't help me, so I may as well just get rid of it. We'll put the statue of Osiris down here, and the boat. And now we have an inner sarcophagus, which is pretty cool.